Yeah, I'm good too. So ready to get that ball rolling. Ooh, welcome back to MMA
Oh,
Underground, your favorite part of Tuesday. I'm gonna have the dynamic duo known as Buddy V with the one and only.
Sam K. And shit, man, we got a great show in store tonight. We have two phenomenal guests all the way from the BKFC. We have the one, the only Victor Rosas in the building. And
Good to be
all the
here,
way from
fellas. Thank you.
Streetbeefs, West Coast, we got the one and only D-Ploy in the building.
Yo,
What up, y'all?
what's up, brothers?
Thanks for having us.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna be a fun show, especially because we're gonna get two really fun, unique perspectives. We got someone who's got skin in the game like crazy and beyond made a name for himself, and somebody who's out here making waves and pushing pathways. So I like it, man. Um,
Excited.
Yeah, I don't even know where to start. I'm so excited. I mean, like, all right, so Victor, when you fought
Yeah.
Luis, man, every single round looked like a video game. You could see the damage you did on him after every round. I was kind of curious. What were your thoughts on that fight, being your most recent one? Whooping some booty, going to war.
I mean, the biggest thing on my mind during that whole fight was my hand. I broke my hand in probably the end of the first round or the beginning of the second round, and I snapped my third metacarpal completely in half, and then I fractured the fourth metacarpal at the base. So I definitely felt that throughout the entire fight, but I just wanted to keep pushing through and get that W.
Gee, I didn't know that. Holy crap!
I just had
Ooh,
surgery on it, like in July.
Nice.
wow.
Sheesh.
That's
Word.
that's badass. Holy shit!
That's crazy, bro, because, I mean, that's your weapon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I had to start throwing that left hand a lot more, using the jab, using the left hook. Um, I had to get the job done no matter what. I wasn't going to quit, so I had to push forward.
Yeah. How did you keep yourself in the fight, like mentally?
I think mentally is like the strongest, thing that I have. You got to have a strong ability to stay mentally in there all the time, no matter what's going on, because something is always going to go wrong. It never goes exactly the way it's planned. So if you can stay mentally strong, you can take over a lot of things. As long as that mental's there, it's more than physical.
Facts.
And that's a perfect segue because that's a crazy injury that you received during a fight and deployed. During your fight, you received not one but two straight kicks to the groin. I mean, just
Yeah.
on the button. I
Yeah.
mean, how were you able to continue, especially after the second one?
That second one I think was the worst because he kicked like straight up into it, and it was because I was throwing that lead leg kick. I would start to throw that one, he would just react and he threw it up. But uh uh it wasn't that hard, like pushing past it though. Like I just got back to it after that. It just was like a catches you off guard. You feel that pain for a little bit and you get back into it. But it was funny that video. The first time I got kicked in where I was like, "You want me to check it out?" and everyone was all laughing and stuff. It was a great time. It was still a lot of like loving energy and stuff. So yeah, but things happen in the fights.
Yeah. And you have the added element of fighting in the middle of the heat. Uh, how does that affect your fight game, if at all?
So that's actually an awesome question because I love the heat and that's my home. I jog in the heat sometimes. I used to bicycle in the heat, skateboard all the time. It does get to you, but I feel like compared to the average person, even here in Arizona, the heat's not gonna bother me as much unless they do stuff like that, running in the heat and stuff, or even going up hiking and stuff, which I need to do more of. We all do, but it doesn't affect me too much.
Got you. What about the sand?
The sand that does hurt. You don't notice it at first, of course, but my knees were pretty messed up after that fight from digging into the ground when we were grappling and stuff. And that's how it does. It scratches you up a little bit too. But um, that's all I can say about the sand. I know they're gonna get pads on the ground
Yeah.
by next year, I think. So that'll definitely be a big game changer and get some good MMA matches in.
Thanks.
And it's crazy because you had a killer MMA match in Victor. I mean, as a pro MMA fighter, you're 7-2-1, I believe. And I mean, combined with your amateur record, over half of your fights are first round finishes. I mean, how does it feel to have something like that? Not many people could brag about that at all.
Yeah, I mean, you want to get in there and get out of there with the least amount of injury as possible, continue fighting. When you can get out in the first round, that's ideal. Um, I got another fight coming up at the end of November, actually. So I'm transitioning back to MMA again.
Oh wow.
So yeah, I had got a couple title fights offered to me, probably in September, but I was still healing up through my injury, and so I said as soon as I'm done with this, I was like, hit me back up and let's get ready to go. I was supposed to fight for the title for Uriah Faber's A1 combat, and obviously like I couldn't do it because of my hand, and then so I had another opportunity come up through UNF, so I'll be fighting for them November 30th.
Awesome. Awesome. What made you want to make the transition back?
I think for me right now, it would just be like a good way to get back into combat sports, being that I just injured my hand. So, going back into a fight, bare knuckle, this fresh, probably not the best thing for me. So maybe if I can get in there with 4-ounce gloves, test the waters a little bit. I'm still getting that impact, but it's not, bone to bone. And I never really left MMA either. It was just something that had arose, and I wanted to take the opportunity through BKFC. So I did that. I got some fights in there. I definitely want to stay in BKFC as well. And, I'm working my way towards the title shot there too. But the main goal has always been to continue through with MMA and eventually get to the UFC. So that's, if I can get both, that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
So yeah, please do. I think the most recent in your division was like a draw too. I think. Yeah. So that's the
Yeah, that was
gentleman beat
bullshit.
J.R. Ridge.
Yeah,
Can I ask
yeah,
a
we-
quick question? I just wanted like a quick overview of like when did you start doing martial arts and what did you start with? Like what was your, because you do bare knuckle fighting right now, which is pretty like intense. That's like the top of the martial arts almost. And I just wanted to know like what got you started.
I mean, I started a little bit of wrestling in high school, not too much. I did like maybe one season. Um, Ended up moving around some places, picked up boxing when I moved to the Valley. I used to live in Coachella for a while. And so there's, a lot of boxers out there. Started getting that in during high school, and then kind of just fell out for a while. Moved back to like my hometown, San Diego, Escondido. And I had a buddy of mine. He was like, "Hey, you ever done MMA before?" I'd never done it. He's like, "Come in, let's do a couple classes." I did jujitsu and a Muay Thai class, and I was like, "Hey, this is cool." Um, we started doing shit on our own in the garage for like the longest time. He signed us up for a fight randomly, and then one day he was like, "Hey, we're fighting on Friday or Saturday." And I was like, "Let's go."
And
And
how
I've been
old were
doing it
you
ever
at that
since.
time?
What's
Oh my
up?
God. How old were you at that time? Like when did you?
Um, I started doing MMA when I was 23.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
How
So
old are
I
you?
mean, a little bit late, but what's
I'm
that?
21.
You're 21? Yeah, man, you're
Yeah,
good.
just turned 21.
Hmm.
So that's what makes me curious about when you start, because I'm like, a lot of people would say this is too late to go if you want to get to the high level of UFC and stuff. But just curious on
I
yours.
mean, yeah, ideally you want to start a little bit younger. I mean, I started boxing when I was like 15, but I didn't really get into competition in MMA until later on. But as long as you're not taking a lot of damage, I think the age doesn't really matter too much.
Hmm.
Yeah, look at Joe Diesel Riggs, Joey Beltran. Those guys are older and still whooping ass.
Yeah.
Do you have a go-to martial art within the arts?
I mean, I think boxing is like something I always fall back on. That's like my main focus. But I think I'm pretty well rounded. I love Muay Thai too, and I got I got some experience in jujitsu as well. I've been doing that for a while, but striking is my thing.
Nice.
Nice. And I'm kind of curious. because it's a little off topic, but it's involved with social media and fighting. Because I recently saw that Ryan Garcia, with all his antics and everything, because of social media, had got not only removed from boxing, but he got taken off the video games, all sorts of rosters. And I was going to ask two different perspectives. Do you feel social media has amped up people trying to go like even more extreme with their antics, more than just the typical trash talking and everything else just for views?
Probably, I would say so. I mean, to a certain degree, it's like it makes you feel like you have to at some point. Like, I mean, I feel like maybe I don't have enough publicity now just because I don't have that, type of character going out there and being crazy and all wild all the time. Um, but I guess that's part of the game now. It's evolving, and they want to see numbers, and if you can generate those numbers, social media is a good way to do it.
Yeah. And controversy is a big way to get numbers. But who knows
Yeah.
what people do out there for money? Who knows what lows will people go to and stuff? You know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you're not that way, you could still get there, but it's probably going to take you a little bit longer. Like people don't really, well, a lot of people, especially more casual fans, don't really recognize the skill set so much as, oh, like this guy's super popular right now because he went viral.
Facts.
I mean, between warriors like us, we see some of those guys that, like the old school guys like Don Fry and stuff, they're grabbing each other, just going bam, bam, and you're like, look at that damage. But yeah, the crowd's loving it. They're like, give me some more.
Yeah, exactly. That's true.
Yeah, but like D-Ploy was saying, people like the controversy, they like the drama, and they like the bullshit, you know. And too often times the pure warrior or the pure fighter gets overlooked, you know.
Yeah, you got to adapt. You got to find that sweet spot. It's just the
Mm,
way it is now.
That's what
yeah.
I think, like, especially with MMA, like just getting a nice gnarly head kick or just a good clip in general. That's why in my the way I view things right now is the way I'm trying to shoot for my stardom in Street Beefs. I just want to put on a good show. I want to have a crazy fight. And I know I'm gonna have some much harder competition than I've had before, and I'm excited for it. I want to be the best in Street Beefs before, and then if I get the best there, I can leave. Just try to revolutionize Street Beefs a little bit. Even that'd be dope.
I dig it, man.
Kill. And I was gonna ask Victor, have you seen Street Beefs?
Yeah, I've seen something. I was gonna ask you guys. I think wasn't there something going on between Street Beefs and Lights Out? They had some type of tournament going on or something. Whoever won
Oh
the
yeah, I
Street
heard
Beefs
something about
tournament
that.
was gonna get a shot at a contract with Lights Out Promotion for Sean Merriman. And I haven't
Yeah.
heard anything else lately if it went through or if they did it or not yet, or maybe they're still filming that. But that's something that I did hear of.
I think they're still, filming a little bit, getting a couple other things underway. I mean, I gotta keep up with some of the Street Beef stuff. I mean, because there's the four branches, so it's gotta stay vigilant.
Yeah, man. Deploy last month. He came out to the West Coast hot box, and he put on a show. He had a hell of a fight. You want to talk a little bit about that fight?
Yeah. He was actually, it was dark. I fought dark. He was supposed to fight my friend Miguel. But as the time started coming closer and closer, and we're already at the event, everyone's getting matched up, and it just came down to it. It was better to match me and Dark up because we're the same weight, and Miguel, my friend, was someone else up. So I ended up fighting Dark. Um, it was. I mean, I was a little nervous leading up to it. I always am, especially the past MMA fight. So this was my second fight, my first boxing match. It was very at the big first round. I took it very slow, let him throw his punches, try to read him a little bit, and then I would just throw those counters in when he really started to push me. I would really get him with that right uppercut, the right hook, my straight, of course. That's like my go-to punch. That's one of my favorite punches. That my jab's pretty good, so I just set him up with my jab, threw this straight down the line, got him really hard. I don't know. It was a fun fight, but do you have any questions about it, or is I don't know what else to say.
I wanted to get your thoughts on it. From what I remember, It was impactful. You know what I mean? Dark was coming off of a good fight that he had just won, and looking at it before the fight started, there was a little bit. He seemed a little bit more solid. You're a little you're longer, leaner. He's a little bit more stockier. So I'm wondering how is this going to match out? Is there a power difference? Is there going to be an issue with range? And man, you came out and you really showed out. So I was definitely impressed and had to get you on the show.
Okay, I appreciate it. It's cool to be here, and
Yeah.
it means a lot. Yeah, the power wise, I definitely think I have much more power. I have a lot of power in general. That's one thing that I used to just self train a lot, and that's where a lot of my experience comes from. And self training, learning from people at the gym, and then started going to this MMA gym, Arizona Combat Sports, for a little bit. And I haven't been too consistent there, but yeah, self training and just hitting the bag and really like taking it slow and filling yourself out, channeling the chi, figuring out how to control that is what a lot of so far that's what saves me a lot in fighting right now. Now I'm refining my technique, and I know I have so far to go. I'm not even saying I'm not good, but I have focused a lot on how I hit and how my power is delivered. So
Absolutely. What weight do you fight at, D-Ploy?
137 is what I fought at last time, and then 139 I fought at my MMA fight.
Okay. And
Yeah.
then, because I know, Victor, you fought BKFC at 135, but you do MMA at 125, right?
Yeah, I
Damn,
do. I do 125, but they offered me a fight at 135, and I was like, oh yeah, of course I'm not going to turn it down. And then when they came up with another fight, they was still at 135. So I was like, sure, I'll take it. Just keep going. I'll rack them up there. But I'm naturally a flyweight, so I would like to get another fight in at flyweight. And I actually online I did call out because they put up a post one time like, who would you like to see fight? And I was like, I want to fight J.R. Ridge because he's the #1 ranked flyweight. And I was like, give me that fight. I'm an actual flyweight. Let's get down. And he commented on the back and he's like, let's do it. So hopefully they can do that. Right now I know that they're going to be doing. They just had that card in Spain, which was they looked amazing. They're planning to do. I feel like I saw it like in March of 2025. They want to get another card in Italy, and it's supposed to be at this real beautiful arena that kind of looks like the Coliseum. So I'm trying to get on that card. I'm gonna put out a reel, tag them in it, and everything. So hopefully, they see me and they put me on that card. And if I can get that matchup with JRH in Italy, then that'd be perfect.
Ooh, we might have to do a little editing. We've had him on the show a little while back. Might get a little video of him, little video of you. I'll find the comment somewhere, put it on tag BKFC, be like, yo.
I think that would be a good fight. No animosity or nothing like that. I've never had any bad
Oh
blood
yeah.
between them. I just like, I want that spot, and I think it'd be a fan-friendly fight, and I'm down for it.
Straight
So
warrior. Dang. Man, I'm curious. I'll actually ask Deploy because talking to a BKFC fighter, and you've heard some of the injuries that you sustain even more from bone on bone versus with the impact of the gloves. If something came your way in the evolution of your stages through your fight career, would you see yourself ever trying that out?
Like BKFC, like bare
Yeah.
knuckle. Ooh, I do like punching bare knuckle. I actually love it because a lot of my bag work I do no wraps, just bare knuckle, getting that. But like that, like you said, that is a lot of injuries. I'll ask Victor. What's your most? Have you had any serious injuries to your face doing that?
Um, I would say my first fight that I had with it was a Daniel Alvarez. I got cut up quite a bit in that one. So it was a learning experience for me. Like it was my first BKFC fight. I mean, I fought bare knuckle in the streets before, but that's different. Usually, you catch somebody early on and they're going down. But like when you're fighting somebody trained professionally like that, like you're both just going at it in there for the most part. But I mean, none of those shots hurt me at all or anything. So I had a pretty good cut right here. I got cut like on top here, and I think I had another cut like around here, something like that. But I think the main thing during that fight was just like he did get one good shot. They went like into my eyeball, and so like my eye swelled up a lot, and that's what they ended up kind of like stopping the fight. But I don't know if you heard about it, but they ended up overturning that. So that turned into a no contest.
Mm.
What? I didn't see
Which
that.
is it's crazy though too, because like I mean I was winning that fight like by
Mm.
far, and so like at first I felt like they gifted him so much because I dropped him like 2 times in that first round. I was just cashing him over and over, and once that eye swelled up, I was circling around. I wasn't getting hit anymore with it, but it just already swelled up, and I was way ahead on the scorecards, and but yeah, they overturned it because the confusion, I think, with the referee. There was 2 doctors there. There was like a ringside physician and then like the BKFC doctor there. There was some stuff going on. I told them I was good. The doctor told me I was good. They want to say, like, let us fight, but then they wanted to check again. And like, Beltran, I think he didn't really know what was going on, and so he just went in there. And it was the first show in California, so they didn't want too much
Oh,
controversy or drama about that. So I was like, what can you do about it? But I'm glad that they, overturned it. Um, I'm wondering myself if that's the only reason why they overturned it, or if maybe there's something else going on. Because I mean, I know that I think on that same card there was a couple of other people that got popped. They popped dirty, and they've
Mm.
been suspended indefinitely. And I don't know if you go look. I don't know about now, but last time I checked, they said he was suspended indefinitely.
oh,
So I don't
damn! I
know.
did not.
I don't know what's going on there, but I'm like, if that's the case, you better give me that W because I earned it.
Right.
Man, for you guys, the fight after, yeah, he had cut, and it was like at the end of, like, I think it was the third round or something. You could see it right there where the knuckle went in. As soon as he came back out, it was like that shit was like 2 inches out. It was like,
Yeah, they were telling me
oh,
like putting up fingers, like how many fingers I got up and everything. So yeah, it was pretty bad. But like I said, I mean, I'm no stranger to cuts and injuries. I just push through everything. I don't care. I'm there to fight. I'm there to win. I got a lot of heart, so I just want to keep it pushing.
Is there a way for you to like make an appeal for that situation?
Um, I mean, I think I would have to find out exactly why there was a suspension there. I didn't have to do anything on behalf of it where they did the no contest. Um, they just told me about that. When I went in for my second fight with them, one of the commentators was like, "Hey, if you didn't know already, I want to give you the good news. It was overturned." Um, but I was never really like 100% told like the reason it was because of confusion between the referees and the doctors or whatever. I just assumed that because like I feel like that shouldn't have happened in the first place. But who knows? It could have been something else. I don't really know how I would go about that. If the athletic commission would give me that information, I'm not sure. I mean, maybe I should start doing that more. What I really want to do too is go back to that, like we were talking about that lights out fight where I got the draw. I would like to see the scorecards on that draw because I think one of the judges screwed up and took a point from me when they were supposed to take a point from the other guy. So there's no way that should have been ruled a draw. I mean, that should be my belt. I should be champion of lights out right now.
Mm.
man, I was looking at some of those. I saw, yeah, that was the most recent one.
The most recent MMA fight was the lights out one with his draw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's damn, that's fucking. Because you should have 2 belts right now, right?
Well, I know I have an amateur belt from like way back, and then I got my first professional bout with was Explode Fight Series, and then I have another belt with Gladiator Challenge, and so
Nice. I
that
know
that would
you're
have been
brown.
like, what's that?
Okay, and you have a brown belt in BJJ too, right?
I do, yeah. My brown belt's been my blue belt, man. As soon as I got my brown belt, I stopped doing jujitsu. But I started doing more no-gi, and you don't get promoted like that in no-gi. But I don't
Yeah.
really care. It got to the point too, like I felt like I was progressing so fast in jiu-jitsu as well. I mean, fairly fast enough. I got my brown belt within like, I would say within like 5 years of training. So I'm like, I'm
Okay.
not in a
Yeah.
rush to get, my black belt. I know a lot
Right.
of people are pushing it, like, you get that black belt, get in there, do this. I'm like, I don't really care about that. Like they say, you know, the belt only covers like, you know, 2 inches of your waist. So it's all about that skill. I don't care about the belt. You know, I just want to learn.
Well said. I wanted to ask you, does your training for bare knuckle fighting, does it differ from any other type of training that you do striking wise?
Good question.
I did actually start training differently. Um, I looked up some interviews, and I think like Chris Lytle would talk about it a lot. You know, a lot of people say, "Oh, bare knuckle, it's not going to be that different." Like for one, they're like, "Oh, I street fight, or I do MMA, so they're 5 minute rounds. Bare knuckles only 2 minute rounds. You know, this, that, and the other." But it is different because it is 2 minute rounds. It's more fast paced than like a 5 minute round fight. So
Yeah.
you got to take that into account. You know, so they're going at it. You're going just like a bunch of speed, and then of course, like I said earlier, street fights versus professional fights is totally different. You know, and especially when you get bare knuckle like that. Even a lot of guys in BKFC, they get hit and they give up. Like I've seen guys take some shots and go down to an end. They're like, "Nope, not for me."
Mm.
So there's a big difference. But training wise, I figured since it's going to be fast paced like that, I need to step it up and do a little bit more high intensity interval training, and really burn out the arms and get that cardio going. So you know that's what I've been doing a lot too. And then I moved out to Utah, so elevation out here I think helps me out too.
Hell yeah. Get the elevation mask. Yeah.
Hey
Someone
man, I
once
can
Yep.
barely
said
breathe through my nose anyway. So
cardio
like,
is key.
yeah, exactly. I can't breathe through my nose. So I live my life with an elevation mask on.
Yeah. That's actually perfect because I was gonna ask Deploy what you said you've done some self-training and stuff. What are you more cardio based? What do you kind of what's your training look like?
Well, when I was just training by myself a lot, it would just be a lot of bag work, some shadow box work here and there. Even though like shadow boxing never been like much of a thing that I got into too much or liked. I used to have a punching bag out in my backyard. I would just hit it at night or whatever time. That'd be a very good time for me to go and just do my own self work. And this was before I even had tips or anything from anyone. And I would just be thinking like, what's the best way to throw a punch or a kick, and I would just go and be creative and do my own thing. Then, because I would work most, because I started working out at like 17, 18 at a Sporta, just weightlifting. Did that for a couple of years, and then like last year or maybe 2 years ago, that's when I started getting into like the boxing and bag work. I mean, I always did a little bit of like fighting stuff growing up, but not like training. But uh, I like to yeah, do bag work. A lot of I like calisthenic work. Right now I'm getting trained by a boxer, and he's having me do boxing workouts, which has been a game changer for me too. A lot with my leg strength. So now I'm just a harder hitter now, and like it comes out faster. I can move around better. My footwork's much better now. Now that I'm actually learning from other people, my footwork has gotten much better. At first, my footwork would be kind of non-existent just because be a lot of bag work,
Mm.
you know. But I've always been a skater, bicycler, runner. But I'm running on right now.
You
No, no,
can't overlook
no.
bag work, man. Bag work is key too. I'll tell you what, for my first BKFC fight, I did zero sparring. I took
I was
zero
just about
boxing
to ask.
classes. I had an injury. I was supposed to fight for lights out for the title, again versus somebody else, and then I had an injury, so I had to step back. A few weeks went by, got over it enough. I had to get cleared for it, which was a pain in the ass, but I didn't want to do any sparring to re-injure it. So I did zero sparring, zero classes for, I think for 3 weeks. I trained for 3 weeks for that fight. I did nothing but bag work and hit the assault bike. That's all I did. And I went in there and put work on that floor. So bag
Yeah,
work, if you can put bag work in and like I said, high intensity interval training with the bag work and you're really pushing yourself, you know, not just kind of like, I mean, there's days where you're going and you're working technique on the bag and you're flowing, but you got to push yourself to where like you want to fall down and puke or something like that. And when you get those rounds in, that fight's going to be a lot easier just from bag work.
mm. Yeah, I'm
Oh
agree.
yeah, that's one of my favorites because then you feel extra good later, and that food tastes better after you've thrown up. You're like, oh, I trained so hard. I'm just gonna. Ooh.
No, but back to the sparring thing. Before my first MMA match, I haven't sparred in MMA before that. I was just doing a little bit of boxing. Like Scar Samke.
Hmm.
Scar, I started sparring with him. He's like one of my first sparring partners. But before him, it was just my best friend. Me and him going bodies. A little bit of face light work, but we never had mouth guards and stuff. Actually, one of these tooth is a crown now, because it was knocked out in sparring. Because I didn't know
Whoa.
how dangerous it is to spar without a mouth guard.
Right
Anyone
here.
out there, use your mouth guards. Don't spar without mouth guards, no matter how tempting it is. I mean, I still spar with people that sometimes don't wear mouth guards, but I'll go light on them. Don't spar without a mouth guard. It's very dangerous. I have a fake tooth now because of it. Yeah.
Damn, that's pretty badass, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a
You can
story
lose teeth with
first.
mouth guards in too.
I'm already kind of used to it.
So, what's you guys' opinion on light, medium, and hard sparring?
Ooh, that's a good question. They're all important, I think. And I think the more advanced you get, the more you're going to be able to control yourself. The more you're going to be able to go to the frequency that you want and be able to communicate that with your partner. As a beginner, you're going to start off and you're going to be boxing, especially close friends. And then if you're both just starting off, you're going to be going light and you're going to end up going hard at the end of it because you're going to get competitive and you're going to get sloppy. But it's all important. You can't go hard sparring all the time, though. I don't think. But what's your opinions?
I mean, it definitely is important. I mean, I would say I've done my fair share of hard sparring early on in my career. I mean, that's all we actually did in the camps that I was at, my gym. We would just bang on each other the whole time, just like nasty head kicks, haymakers, power hooks. Everything would go. Headgear, no headgear, it didn't matter. We were just putting it on each other. Um, and it really instills that dog in you, especially when you get into that fight. If you can't take that during sparring, you're gonna give up during the fight. But now every once in a while I'll do that. It has its place and its time. Um, I feel like I've gotten good enough and everything with my technique that I'll do more light sparring. I like to flow a little bit more now, stay a little bit more on the technical side. Um, Sometimes I'll do some hard.
Oh, we cut out. Oh no. I was getting into that.
Right? You got pulled to the black abyss. Like, ew.
Man.
Hopefully, he'll be back with us.
Well,
Oh
Sanke,
yeah.
what do you think about hard sparring? I've seen some of your the only matches I've seen of you were just that intro that was on. But I haven't seen
Oh,
you
we got.
spar hard yet.
I'll answer that when Victor's done.
Yeah, sorry guys, I kind of disappeared there for a second.
Right?
um,
Heck yeah, keep it on toes.
Yeah, like I was saying, like I'll still spar hard sometimes just to get that feel of an actual fight going on in there,
Mm.
but not too much. It's more of kind of gauge where I'm at. I'll use hard sparring to gauge where I'm at, cardio wise, because you don't really need to be getting hit that hard, especially closer to the fights. But there is a time and place, but you pick and choose wisely.
Facts. Yeah, for me, mostly I mostly do more so light to medium, mostly. The hard sparring for me is like in preparation for a fight. So maybe like a month before the fight, I'll hard spar for maybe 2 weeks. Um, Definitely, I give myself enough time to fully recover before the fight. But a lot of times, bro, I try to go according to the pace that the person I'm going with. You know what I mean? And just be a little bit better than what they're giving me at the moment, you know? Now, if we have an agreement prior to starting, then that's different. Then, we come up with the terms. But generally, it's a gentleman's thing. You know what I mean? Like, we're trying to get some technique. We're trying to maybe work on a move, see if we can apply this, apply that, But hard sparring, I believe, is necessary at specific times. You know, for me, I can always spot out the person who never hard spars. You know what I mean? Because that behavior it's always the same.
I was like, sometimes you got to check people. You be going try to go light, and then they try to go real hard, you know.
Yeah,
But it's a skill level thing as well. Like you got somebody that's matched up pretty well with you. You guys, without even saying anything, and you probably know about it. Like you can amp it up, you know, level by level by level, you
yeah,
know, and then once you know where you're at, you just keep throwing back in exchanges, giving each other some good looks. But you know, if there's somebody less experienced, you know, keep it a little bit lighter. Every
yeah.
once in a while, they don't know, or they think they're a little bit better than they are, and they start throwing hard at you. You got to check them a little bit and then bring it back down again after that.
Like, oh, really? Bow. All right then.
Yeah, it helps knowing the people you're working with. You know, if you're with some good people, then you're with some good people.
Yeah.
You know,
I
now if
know,
you're with strangers,
exactly. Like I was gonna say, like at this point in my career too, I try to only spar with certain people. You know, like I have a set specific amount of people. I'm like, I know I'm good with this guy or this guy, you know, whatever. Especially if, you know, you're training with some light injuries because, you know, we're never 100%. So, you know, those certain training partners are going to take care of you, you know, and fresh new people coming in, that's when you get hurt because egos get involved or other
yeah,
things get involved. So, you know, it's sparring with the right people and having the right people surrounded by you is like a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And I know before we hit the Ariel's question too, I was kind of curious about Apex's question. I know he had for Victor asking, what kind of crazy shit do you hear walking out of the ring at those BKFC events?
Like
Yeah.
the people.
Yeah, what do you hear? Yeah, you hear people trying to like just a mix of
Oh,
everything. I mean,
honestly, I get zoned in. So when I'm coming out, I hear my music because like it's different too. Like on that stage, there's so much stuff going on behind the scenes, and like there's a lot of the times you're thinking about, oh, I got to do this. I got to go. I have to walk to this mark. I have to wait till this happens. Then I got to take my shirt off at this point, throw it on this side. There's all this stuff going on because they walk you through, you know, backstage prior, you know, beforehand, leading up to it. Like, this is what you got to do. We're going to bring you to here. We're going to stage you here. You're going to step up to this point, go to this step. Then when the music starts or when the fog machines go, then you go here. Then you have so many seconds. Then you got to walk down and this and that. So it's like my mind's there, making sure I don't screw anything up on TV going down. And then, you know, and then I got my song playing. So I'm just trying to feel that and it getting the good vibe and everything like that. So I zone everything else out. I don't hear like anybody in the crowd.
I like it. Just locked it.
Yeah, I got a job
And
to
then I know
do.
Ariel had a question too. What was that? What inspired you guys to take this career path? And who was the person that really set it in for you that this is the path for you?
Good question. You want to go first?
You can go first. I'd like to hear yours.
All right. Um, so I think getting started with this, like in the very beginning, the first time I ever did anything, I know my father always wanted me to learn some type of martial arts. He always kind of instilled at me growing up, like, hey, you need to learn how to defend yourself. That was like the main thing. You know, you I used to like, I was never like bullied or anything like that, but I used to kind of, I'm a real shy, quiet person. Used to walk with my head down a lot and everything. And he was always like, you know, stick your head up, push your chest out, you know, be more of a man. So going through that, and then he's like, you know, you need to learn how to box. He's like, I did boxing, I did wrestling. You need to learn how to box. You need to learn how to wrestle. Do something in case somebody messes with you. You know, at least know how to defend yourself. So that was probably like my first taste of it, getting into it. And you know, I started boxing a little bit with him, or doing a little bit of like a taekwondo, kung fu classes and stuff. Never really stuck with it or anything like that, but that was like my entryway to that. And then it kind of was just like gone from it for the longest time. And then I got myself back into it. I don't know what it was. I will say that I remember specifically, I was reading a book by Tony Robbins one day, And it was like, and it's one of those self-help books, you know, but it was more like getting into my own mind. Like, it made me feel like, what do you want to do with your life? And I realized, like, I don't want to go work at 9 to 5. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. Like, there was something in me. I was like, I just want to fight. I want to fight people because that's all on me. You know, it's not like another team sport. I always knew I was going to be a professional at something, but you know, you got team sports where you got to count on everybody else. In a sport like this, like, yeah, you got teammates that you work with, but like when that door shuts, you know, the cage shuts, you're in there by yourself and it's all riding on you. And if you don't have the heart, you don't have the skill set, you're not going to make it. And I knew that I had that. And I knew that I would always have the heart and I'm not going to give up. So, you know, I wanted to bet on myself.
I love that
And on
answer.
yourself.
Actually, I can relate to that. Mm.
Yeah.
But for me personally, no, it wasn't like a particular person that got me into fighting or martial arts. No one was actually pushing me to do it. It was like my own thing. Um, like you said about bullies, I don't like to say I was bullied, but I guess you could say that I've been bullied by people or like manhandled and like beat up or whatever. There's something with that. It's like I don't want to ever be in a situation where I can't defend myself against anyone, any man. Don't care how big they are. That's how my mindset built. And so a lot of it's self defense, but most of it is actually because I think it's a very beautiful thing. Like he was talking about the sport aspect. I always grew up kind of athletic and nerdy, so I was nerdy and athletic, and I was always a good team player in the sports I played. But I wasn't always like the person that stood out in sports. But I always knew like I was helping so much. But with martial arts, it's one on one, mano a mano, two enter, one man leave type mentality. So I know I have a lot in here. Like he said, I have a lot of fire. There's nothing that's gonna make me like cower away from it. It is like a scary thing at time from time to time, but you just go in and you do it. You do the mano a mano. This person's been training for however long you've been training, and you clash and you try to go in there and whoop each other's ass. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's an art, and you're expressing yourselves. Yep.
Oh yeah.
And that's
I
what I
think
love
expressing
about
yourself
fighting.
through fists and feet.
You are. It's like dancing, but very violent.
Poetry in motion, man.
It is.
I wanted to ask you, how did you get your name, D-Ploy?
That is a good question. So I spent a little bit of time just pondering what my name would be for like a week, but I was thinking, and the word ploy, like a feint or a trick, something like that.
Mhm.
It's it comes out of nowhere, and then deploy. It sounds like deploy, like you're deploying in. I'm
Right.
deploying into battle, and then the D, just for my name, Dylan. So it just like it came together that way, and then the hyphen came through later. I just thought that looked really good. But deploy. At first, I thought it was like kind of corny. At first, I thought, oh, it was cool, and then I started to hear people say it. At first, I was like, and then I got used to it, and I started to like it. And then you'd be watching the video and you hear deploy, and it's like that shit's pretty badass. Actually, I like it, and I think it'll become big one day. This costume might be worth a lot of money. Just kidding.
You never know.
Yeah.
Like this is authentic blood from my first fight. No.
Shoot,
Yeah,
this might be the deploy outfit. We might have to
yeah,
update this
yeah.
sometime or make a new one or a new version of it.
That's the official D-Ploy costume right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like it. And I was curious, Victor, because when you're announced, I mean, your fight name is Victor, the Art of Violence.
Oh, dude.
Rosas. How'd you get
Yes,
that? I
sir.
mean, the Art of Violence speaks for itself, but I mean, I gotta know.
Yeah, I mean, like he was just saying, like he was describing that, and I was just thinking in my head too. I was like, that's exactly it right there. Um, but yeah, like I honestly always kind of wanted like just like fans or people to kind of like give me something, you know. Um, and I've had so many names go in and out, and thinking of different things, and I don't know, that one just kind of like stuck with me, and I was, like I said, it's the art of violence. It really is like what I'm doing is the art of violence. At least the way that I want to fight, I want it to be artful expression of violence. So I can be a very, very violent person, or I can be a very docile person, but when I get in there, there's gonna be some art, and I'm gonna be painting that canvas with their blood or my blood. I don't care, but it's gonna be violence.
Dang, I like it.
Yes, sir.
Now, it's crazy that you're so deadly like this, but I was doing some research. I saw that you not only will raise awareness for Parkinson's disease, but you've helped train at a gym as a trainer to help people with Parkinson's to improve their lives.
Yeah.
Nice.
What? Speak on that, man. Man, hell yeah.
Yeah, I had been doing that for like, I don't know, maybe like 8 years or something like that. I got involved with it so there was a woman that was running that program before, and they started renting the gym out in the morning. They needed a new boxing coach. And so I went in there. I was working construction at the time, and I was like, yeah, let's do this. Of course, I would love to be able to, do something else like that along with something that I love to do anyways, with combat sports. So I went in there, met all the people, we loved each other. And I started teaching them mitts and doing this and that, footwork, stuff like that. And then it kind of just grew and grew and grew. And I kept working with them over a couple of years. I went out and got certified in the program. And then I ended up taking over the business. And I've been working with them. And I, would work with them in the gym. And I even do like online because a lot of them are older. Of course, like most people with Parkinson's are elderly.
Yeah.
And depending on what stage they're in, and different conditions that they have, because most of the time there's other conditions that go hand in hand with Parkinson's, like dementia and
Yeah.
things like that. So not all of them can drive either. So I still even to like I'll be doing like Zoom classes and stuff for people, and I'm opening that up to uh, like general public too, but mostly like the elderly people. So I do work with a lot of Parkinson's people online as well that can't drive or go anywhere like that. And it's perfect. So when I have to leave to go like corner people, different states, countries, or whatever it is, or they're like, oh, older people like to go on vacation. They got money, so like they're like, let me go here, let me go there, and I'm like, well, now you can't bypass the gym anymore because everyone's got a cell phone. I was like, you put that up, you're on vacation, you still get that workout in.
No excuses.
That's commendable,
No,
man.
but honestly, like they go through so much, and they've been an inspiration to me as well. Like, we've been through it. We're training, we're tired, we're hurt. Maybe we got something to do tomorrow, or we got to go run some miles or something like that. And I'm just like, it's so easy to get home and get comfortable and be like, yeah, I'm not gonna go do that right now. They show up like every day. They'll show up. It doesn't matter. They're always sore. They're always tired. They're rigid. They're stiff. Sometimes they can't even walk. When they get in the gym, they still like, that's what helps them. So they just don't stop coming. And exercise is the best medicine.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
Absolutely. Jeez, I mean that's.
That's
Were you gonna say
commendable,
something?
man.
Absolutely. Now, ooh, I was gonna say, having fun. I always hate to be this guy, but when we get closer around this time, it's when we have
Okay, I
to
think I lost audio.
start kind of wrapping some stuff up, and I gotta be the bad guy because I know we're all in different time zones. But I always like to ask our Mr. Samke if he has any final questions for our guests too before we close things out because I'm not done quite yet.
Yeah, final question of the night, man. I want to start with Victor and then we'll go to D-Ploy. Uh, who's like one of your top fight influences? Like who's one of those guys that really stood out growing up or even now? Can you hear?
Oh no!
Victor? Can't hear. So let's start with D-Ploy, and then hopefully we'll get Victor back.
Same question.
Same question, yeah.
All right, okay. Mine was Conor McGregor because
Can you
we're
guys
like
hear
the
me?
same. Oh,
We can hear you. Yeah,
can
we
hear
can
me?
hear you.
I my volume's up.
You can't hear us?
I don't know. I had an alarm went off and I turned it off and now the audio went out.
Oh,
Maybe
wow.
I'll say maybe if I leave and come back, I'll
Yeah.
try that. I'll be right back, guys. Sorry.
Should
So
I?
Connor?
Yeah,
No, go
Conor
ahead.
McGregor, just because I love the fluidity of his style. I love his striking game. I love how he boxes, and just because of our size too, just because we're like the same size almost. And yeah, I think that's why he revolutionized UFC, just because of his style and how he's able to hype up a fight like that. But uh, other than that, for boxing, Mike Tyson, just because he was a knockout artist, and I loved how he used his power. Like he knew how to channel that power into the knockout punch. But I haven't been too big into watching uh, those sports too much, to be honest. Though, can you hear it now?
Yeah, I got
Oh,
audio. We're good. Yeah, go ahead and continue, man.
awesome. Oh, I was just saying, one of my favorite fighters growing up, and one that inspired me to get into to MMA, was Conor McGregor, just because of the fluidity of his style, uh, his expression. Like how we were talking about art, he turns into the art, and that's what made it such a stellar fight.
Yeah, his dedication to the craft, you definitely notice it.
I like when he's a little faster. He's a little too beefy for me now. No,
He's
Yeah,
a big dude now.
who knows if he even has a career anymore in the UFC? But it's cool where he's
yeah.
going now. He's really successful, and I think he should stay from there, and go on from there, and do other things.
I heard something about him and Dan Hooker. I don't know if that's anything's gonna happen there, but because Dan Hooker was out in Spain because he was out in Spain because Connor's part owner of BKFC now.
Yep.
So they were out there talking, and yeah. So I don't know. It's funny. I was looking at my phone right before I got on here, and there was another guy that he works. I don't know what exactly he does, but he works with something going on with the one out in Spain and Italy and all that. And so like I started following him, and that's where I learned about the fight that they're going to be doing in Italy. And so I was commenting on his posts and stuff, and Connor just liked one of my comments today. I was like, "Hey,
Heck yeah.
I got to keep getting noticed."
Yeah, I keep you in the algorithm. Gotta stay up while you got
Yeah,
the momentum.
gotta stay relevant.
So I was asking as a final question, who is some of your big influences fight wise?
Fight wise, so I mean, I really like Carlos Condit. He's one of my favorite fighters, and Zabit. I really like his style a lot. Yeah, I definitely thought he definitely could have made something. But I was just talking about him today. Somebody was telling me that he went to go be a doctor or something, and that's why he stopped
Wow.
fighting. I was like, I thought he got injured, but like maybe it was a combination of things, and now he's like a doctor or something like that. Like, hey man, that's wild, but that's cool. I was like, same thing with like
Yeah.
the Klitschko brothers. They were both doctors and top level boxers and everything. Speaking of Carlos Condit, he's doing one of those fight camps out in Colombia pretty soon coming up. So you can go out there and train with Carlos Condit for like a week. But yeah, those have been some inspiration for me. I really enjoy their technique, their styles. So I kind of like emulate that. And then for MMA, and I also like to take from Lomachenko too. Uh, I think I need to do more of that. Like his footwork is phenomenal, and his angles that he takes. So, I want to keep implementing that into my game. More and more as I evolve.
Dig it.
Damn, I like these. You guys got some killer ass answers. Yeah. But before we even think about letting you go, we have to make sure that we get final shout outs. We get social media follows, and we need you to let all the people here know anything that's on your mind that you want them to know.
Okay.
So
I'll
let's
start
go
off
first.
with this.
D-Ploy.
My Instagram is dylan.m.a_. And a shout out to everyone that's supporting me right now, all my family. Thank you, Vicky, for the amazing costume that I'll be fighting in, and I won't disappoint any of you guys in this upcoming fight. Win or lose, I'm gonna go out like a warrior. No, I'm gonna draw some blood. And thank you all my loved ones. Thank you my grandpa. Thank you my grandma. Thank you my little brother that's a little stink. And I love you all. And God bless you all.
For me, my handle is super easy. I like to keep it simple. It's VR7SD. And, I want to give a shout out to the people that have been supporting me. The gyms that I've been with, like I said, I moved recently. So back home, North County MMA with Johnny Hughes, big part of my life. That man has helped me out so much. I'm so grateful to him. And then the gyms that I've been training out here, Sierra MMA and Factum MMA, they've been really welcoming me in, and everybody in the gym, all the fighters there. So it's been nothing but love, and I really appreciate all of them. And then of course all the fans and my family, they come out, watch, and support me. And I'm gonna keep on showing out. You guys keep on showing up for me too, please. I love to put on a show for everybody, and thank you for being there. November 30th. Title fight, Los Angeles, Commerce Casino. I'll be challenging for the title, so don't miss that. I don't think they'll be televising that one, but it will be recorded, and look out for it on the Up Next Fighting page. That's their handle, Up Next Fighting.
Awesome. Oh, also, I do also have a fight coming up this month on the 26th. That's going to be the Halloween event. It's the costumes for. And also, I didn't want to leave out any friends. Everyone that I train with, thank you too. Thank you all my friends. Thank you all my family. Love you all.
Hey, well, we appreciate you guys. It was a great show.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Great
guys.
to be a part of this.
Yeah. Thank
Also,
you
a real
guys.
quick shout out to BKFC. Thank you guys for the opportunity as well. Like, they're giving all kinds of people opportunities. They have the amateur prospects and everything like that too. Everybody that works there, I will say one of the best promotions that I've, worked with, very professional. They got their stuff together, super friendly commentators and everything. They take care of you. So I'm really happy to be there as well.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Damn. Thank you guys very much. And I'm
Thank you, guys.
really sorry that we had to let this end. Oh, it's the worst part of the show.
We appreciate y'all, though.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys.
Have a good night.
Peace.
But you guys know that we aren't going anywhere quite yet. So you know you're not to go anywhere.
So I got to ask you, because I always everything I do with the podcast comes from a place of sports, right? My brain always works in sports. So with an artist, isn't it almost like, sure, my first contract was shit, but I'm playing for my second contract. I'm playing for to get that generational wealth, because that first contract, you're new, they got you, they can give you whatever they want, plus you're learning the game.
I'm not mad at anybody that feels that way. I feel like a lot of, not even just artists, I think with a lot of shit, your first deal, your first whatever the hell it is, be the shittiest one, because you're still learning the situation, you're still learning the game. Once you learn more, that second one, you're gonna make sure it works for you. It may feel like it may look like it's a little less than the first contract, but it works out better for you than that first contract did.
What's up, everybody? It's Jay from Yankee.
Buddy V's Fighters to Watch.
So, we always start off at the scrap yard. We have Predator. Now, this gentleman was nice with it. And that's one of the best things I could say. He's got some clean kicks, good technique. And one of the biggest things about being deadly is he was very humble. There was about 2 or 3 opportunities in this fight where I saw him get his opponent real good. And he could have had a knockout. He stopped himself. And he Instead of making like just finishing them out like crazy, he kind of let them push out. He was like, "You making sure his opponent's good. You want to keep going? All right." And they kept scrapping. So I always like that when people could see that and be, when they know that there might be a little bit on a different level. And yeah, Predator, let me see you back because man, you can whoop some butt. Street Beast West Coast. I gotta give props to Broke Mark. I was looking back about 3 months ago. He was one of my fighters to watch, and as of recently, I don't want to give too much away, but you might see a nice shiny belt hanging over his shoulder. So I got to give props when props are due. Thank you so much for not just giving us something to enjoy, but for giving us something to look forward to. Can't wait for you to defend it in the future. I can't wait for everything else. Broke Mark, yeah. For Street Beefs, the OG yard, I have the Intimidator. Now, if you look back, you'll see some fights from 2 years ago, 3 years ago, a couple years ago, a little hiatus, and then one from a couple weeks ago. And he definitely has grown. I've seen a different level of technique. When he came out, he definitely earned the name. He took the name to a next level. Intimidator. Now he's intimidating people through the screen. I'm like, "Dang, come with some butt." Now, from Dirty South, Bam Bam. This was a fun one because as I watched the fight, the guy did not have an off switch. And I mean, I've heard it a few times before my fight started, like, don't stop throwing. Doesn't matter if they hit, doesn't matter if they're 100%, don't stop throwing. Definition right here. This man, the beginning to the end of each round, just constantly work, work, work. You would have got hit, he'd readjust, come back, work, 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 work. He did not take time to run away, nothing. I was very surprised at this fight. You will check it out. You will enjoy it. I promise you. Those were my 4 fighters to watch.
Yeah, some great picks, man. Some fire picks. Yeah, Sound Can the Fire 5. Starting things off at Street Beefs OG Yard. You see it. We got a boxing match, HD versus Escobar. HD versus Escobar. This was a great match right here. First thing you see is a contrast in height and size. And this was a David versus Goliath match, meaning these two agreed. Smaller guy versus a bigger guy. They asked for it. They got what they asked for. As we say in every episode, though, cardio is key. Cardio is key. Cardio is key. This was a great test of will and determination. We got some great shots fired back and forth, and it made for a very entertaining fight. Street Beefs, OG Yard, HD versus Escobar. Moving along, we're going to take you to Street Beef Scrapyard. You see it. This is another boxing match right here. This is Blank, aka Cal L. He just recently changed his name. Blank versus White Chocolate. This was a technical bout, very much so a chess match. You see the double jabs, you see the combinations, the liver shots, the footwork, everything you want to see in a firefight. Very competitive, very close, a lot of volume, a lot of exchanges. Street Beef Scrapyard, Blank versus White Chocolate. Yeah, taking you to Street Beef's West Coast. You see it. Mr. Silas versus Frost. This was another boxing match. And this was another chess match. Well played. We saw the pacing. We saw the feinting. We saw the body work. And once more, cardio is key. Cardio is key. Cardio is key. We had some great cornering, and we saw some great adaptation thanks to some great cornering. Shout out to Mr. Silas. Street Beefs West Coast, Silas versus Frost. Firefight. Yeah, we got the Dirty South on the list tonight. And we're taking you to Street Beefs Dirty South, Dallas. This is Goon versus Clay. This is another boxing match. And these were some big boys, heavy hands being thrown. We got some solid exchanges. And as we said earlier in the previous fight, pacing is key. Pacing is key. These warriors fought their hearts out to the very end, though. We saw a lot of slips, a lot of body shots, and it made for an entertaining fight. Street Beefs, Dirty South, Goon versus Clay. And we're going to end things at Street Beefs West Coast tonight. Baby Broly versus Skipper. We have another boxing match. And you see the time on there, 3 minutes, 47 seconds. We didn't waste no time. This was a 1-round banger, punches and bunches, supercharged key from our fighters, forward pressure, and this was just a banger right here. Street Beefs West Coast, Baby Broly versus Skipper. Street Beefs West Coast. Banger. Stomp Can the Fire 5.
Fire! I went on a recent West Coast binge today, and I saw some of those fights on their list. Damn, fire!
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. We had some bangers, man. Those were fights from the 4-year anniversary, and man, they didn't disappoint at all.
Hell no. And as much fun as this always is it about that time?
Yeah, man, it's about that time, bro. But another fire show as always. I want to give a shout out to our guests. Appreciate you, Victor, and we appreciate you, D-Ploy. First and foremost, if you guys haven't liked and subscribed, please like and subscribe. And while you're at it, go ahead and check out our guest fight tonight. D-Ploy is all over Street Beefs West Coast, and Victor, he's all over the internet. So, show some support. Shout out to Street Beefs OG Yard, Scrap Yard, West Coast, and Dirty South. We do this for y'all. Shout out to the people watching us live, the people watching us on playback. We appreciate you all. We do this for you all. Overtime Hustling Magazine, we appreciate you. Heart in the Fight, we appreciate you. Zwellworld.com, we appreciate you. You guys go ahead and check out zwellworld.com. Go get your merch. Show some love, show some support. That's what we're here for. And again, hit that like button if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Once again, thank you, Buddy V. Always killing it. Once again, thank you, Jay, in the background. Always killing it. That's pretty much it for me, guys.
Shout out to Zuwa. As you see, that's where you go when you saw multiple times Tom Kane's Cardio is Key shirt. If you want to go get some. And I want to say thank you all who's been supporting, because whether you've gotten some Cardio's Key shirt or another Zwell shirt, I've been getting some orders here and there, even just with some of the accessories and the stash jars. So thank you all very much. That's why with every order, I've been putting a little extra in no matter what it is, because, we all keep this this thing going and growing. Thank you all. Heck yeah. And, this is my favorite part of Tuesdays. I don't like being the bad guy I had to be, but damn, that show was flowing and rolling. But thank you, Samke. Man, we kill it every Tuesday. Jay, keep you on your toes, and you're always on spot. So, we're going to have to try to be more crazy. And make sure you go not just with the zwellworld.com, but Zwell_Buddy V for my Instagram. It's been growing. I've been posting some more stuff. That's getting revamped too. So, yeah. And, we're always end the show in Jay's famous words with one world, one love, deuces.